Hello, everybody. I'm Elise says Another Truth on YouTube. I hope you're doing well and that you're taking great care of yourselves. I hope your weekend is restful and recuperative and your holiday weekend, whether you worked or you celebrated, that you remain safe. You're taking excellent care of yourselves. Today, I want to talk about two of Katie Joy's screenshots on this specifically. I will finish the other video as soon as I can. With some other screenshots, but I want to thank Balls 2.0 for supplying the screenshots and anybody else who has contributed to this. And I wanted to address this specifically because while Katie's typical behavior in this can be troll worthy, Minnesota and some surrounding states are really having a hell of a time. I mean, they're referred to as the breadbasket of the world, and they supply most of the grains for people to make, to eat and stuff. And a lot of farmers are suffering, so their crops are wiped out, and people's livelihoods essentially gone down the toilet because of the horrible torrential rain and the dangerous flooding. So I don't know if she has addressed that in any of her videos. I would have. It's devastating. And then, she talks about, well, I'm not going to celebrate it, but, I guess I can go to the backyard and swimming. I mean, people fucking die in floods. People's crops are being wiped out. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I understand. I suppose if I'm in that situation, like, yeah, I'm not going to be going out today. There's some horrible things, but there are some horrible things going on with the torrential rain that they've been having, I think, for weeks, and how it's impacted people directly. It's horrifying. I mean, it's bad for us, but I mean, listen, I don't crap on the people who feed me, okay? And it's really sad when people lose their livelihood, they lose their lives, everything that they work for is gone. That's sad. That's really sad. But in any event, I don't know how to take her remark here. But as somebody said in one of the follow-ups to this, it's not like Katie Joy goes out anyway, and I'll agree with that. I mean, July, she has no concept, the understanding what it means to have independence. I mean, she spends her time, trying to take that away from people, even on Independence Day, I'm sure, and interfering in people's right to seek a remedy for crimes that happen to them, people experiencing oppression from her, being silenced, being doxxed, people, her lackeys going after people in different ways, and making it, framing people and lying about people. I mean, that's antithetical to anything, um, res, you know, related to independence and importantly, respecting people's civil liberties, civil and human rights, and rights, freedom of expression. So she's entirely full of shit on this, in my opinion. And yeah, she's not going to be going anywhere. And if there were any floods in her area, you think she'll be still on here and just yapping away at her fucking computer, going after the targets of her obsession? She just didn't want to go outside. She didn't want to involve her son. Now, if her son has some sensitivity to it, yes. And I think the next slide is about the PSA she did, and it makes more sense why she did it now than ever, and I will talk about that next. But chances are she didn't do anything with him. And even if the weather was bad, let's say, I don't know if her part of Minnesota was affected. It doesn't matter. It's affecting Minnesotans, and it's very sad. But, she should just be grateful she's safe, and that, she should probably expend her energy having a little empathy for people who are having a hard time right now. Now, I don't know if her son is sensitive to certain sounds and things because of some things Katie Joy talked about, but as it were, it was told to me that he does like fireworks and things like that, and that puts a whole nother um, sheds a whole nother light on the situation, that she just didn't want to bother engaging him in anything. I mean, because even with that, she could have stayed inside. Even, you remember the rainy days. You would bake cookies with your family, or you did it with your kids, or you had a day of board games, and fun snacks. You ordered pizza and watched movies. I mean, it's stuff I did as a kid. And even taking care of my own kids, making forts inside of the house with blankets and stuff. She could have done Christmas in July. That's always fun. I mean, she didn't have to buy expensive gifts. It could have been some stuff for Vaughn to um, craft with, or a video game, or, cooked his favorite meal, had him involved with that, playing board games, video games, whatever. Those kinds of activities that a family shares on a rough day outside. It's a time to build that bond and teach kids some good values in the process. But I don't believe she does any of that kind of stuff with him. Right now, it's just he's existing, and in her. I know this is harsh to say, but I think she's just doing her minimum, if she's doing her minimum, to ensure that he gets what he needs. But I'm not sure. I mean, he emotionally needs interaction and stuff, but I don't know. That whole situation's actually sad. This whole situation is sad, between the flooding and her trashing people, and violating people's rights, and Vaughn is kind of caught in the crossfires of all of it. It's just so sad. Okay, apparently this was posted the day after 4th of July. So this is Katie Paulson. Fireworks aren't fun for everyone. Please be respectful of others before shooting off illegal fireworks in your neighborhood. They aren't legal in many states. Thank you. So this is the public service announcement that I referred to in the first part of this. Friendly reminder, please be courteous with fireworks. Remember our veterans with PTSD, individuals with autism, pets, and others with sensory challenges. Thank you. Yeah, well, anybody who has PTSD, I mean, they're not going to like bombs in the sky either. All right, so, I looked at this, and you know what? On the surface, it looks like, yeah, Katie Joy could be right. And I'll say why. I'm not saying that I have a very nuanced perspective on this. Okay? And yes, it's a day late, but here's where I'm coming from. Now, it used to be, not anymore. Now, Massachusetts now has the strictest laws against setting off personal fireworks anywhere. Okay? We have a full out ban on that. And even if it was legal to buy it in the state and bring it in, it's still legal to set it off. Especially where I live, where we all kind of live on top of each other and very close to each other. One wrong move can really cause a lot of problems. Okay, now it has less to do with the consideration of people with certain types of disabilities, certain type of sensory challenges, certain types of cognition, whatever. It has less to do about that, because in general, nobody really cares about people who are very sensitive to that. They don't care about the animals or anything. I mean, there are other alternatives than setting off bombs in the skies, and that's what they sound like to me, and I'm going to make that reference. No one seems to care about that. And, people with disabilities, some people don't have the option of just making adjustments, or going somewhere else, or doing anything like that. It's not possible. They don't have the means to get away. Listen, people started off fireworks here the day before. Okay, it used to be that it would start off 3 days before, and it was constant every single day until they cracked down on that. But we heard maybe a couple of things the day before, and we heard the cops not too long after that. And of course, the day after July 4th, people were setting them off. Not as much cops came. That was it. You could hear the cops and it, whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, typically, these PSAs are helpful and there's only so many adjustments, but I can't put earplugs in my pet's ears. I can't keep them in my ears. I have to be able to hear what's going on in case there's an emergency. I'd love to be able to wear them to sleep, but what if there's an emergency? I need to be able to get up. I need to be able to react to things. But in any event, yeah, so there's that. So I thought maybe this was posted the day after because people were setting off illegal fireworks. Now, she didn't say if that's illegal in Minnesota, but if there's a lot of flooding and stuff, it's likely that's not occurring. So she didn't make herself clear there. But I do like the PSA. I do like this part. Not saying that she cares about this. I'm not saying she really believes in this because I don't think she gives a shit and she didn't have to worry about it herself. Um, and I think this whole entire post was probably a way to save face from the July 4th nonsense that she posted on July 4th, to be frank with you. Um, but I do agree with this. Okay. Um, but not not because I think Katie Joy has the insight, the care, and the concern for others. Um, yeah, so there's that. But I do think that this was a way for her to just kind of maybe drown out the criticisms of her July 4th and the funny ass stuff that's coming out about uh, how affected she is by the weather, how victimized she is by the weather. Understanding that other people are victims who have lost their crops, they've lost their lives, they've lost their livelihoods, and that the world is going to have a problem. It's all too easy to crap on the people who are the operators of the bread basket. But why would we do that? Yes, they feed us, but they're still human beings who depend on this for their livelihood, for their survival. Now they have anything. And then we have this idiot here, Paulson, making stupid jokes. So I guess she had to save face somehow. I thought maybe it had to do with people were setting off fireworks the day after and stuff. I mean, this would have been great the day before, and it would have been more plausible. But as always, she's full of shit. She doesn't care. And it's likely nobody was really having a good time. And if they did, they did. That's good. That's okay. But Katie Joy's not going to take part in anything that's going to make her son happy or make anybody else happy. I do think this was done because she's like, joking about something serious. Somebody must have said something to her. All the funny stuff coming around it, all the criticisms, the memes and stuff, and then she cuts out a day later to say that, or maybe she saw that one of her critics were having a good time with their 4th of July and she wanted to bring them down. Who knows what this person's thinking? Who knows? She's so full of shit. um, so, although I do agree with having a PSA, I do agree with supporting people who can't listen to things like that. And I'm sure that they'd want to participate in some other way if they could. But she doesn't care. This was all sort of to I mean, she deleted the July 4th posts, I guess, one of them or all of them, probably because she looks stupid for the aforementioned reasons. But this was even more stupid in many ways because it's like
All of my best.
it's like
Bye-bye.
trying to wipe your face off the day after a pie hit you in the face. I mean, so idiotic. Anyway, all right, that's stuff. So you take care. Have a good weekend. Be well. Be safe.